Hi everyone, welcome back. So one of the most common questions I receive is, how do I rock those medical interviews? So I'm here today to tell you a little bit on my thoughts and how you can make that happen. So far, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're interested in the medical profession and you've checked all the right boxes so far. You've had excellent grades, great MCAT scores, excellent reviews, and are finally ready to go on your interviews. So the one thing people don't often talk about though is what to wear. And I often stressed quite a bit in terms of what to wear. That being said, a lot of my colleagues, to be honest, could not care less what you're wearing to your interview. They more so rely on your credentials, as they should, in terms of your background, your medical knowledge, and whatnot. That being said, I think it never hurts to present yourself in a professional way, to show that you're serious about the process, have confidence. I think that can only add to your resume. And these, of course, are only my opinions. Again, a lot of my colleagues would not bat an eyelash at what you're wearing, but on the other hand, you may get an interviewer like myself who actually does care a little bit more about fashion and style and may be interested in seeing how you put yourself together. So I wanted to give you the top 5 tips I have in terms of how to present yourself for your medical interviews. So the first tip is what to wear. So traditionally, at least for women, there was a suit option, and I believe that that is still the way to go. I think wearing a conservative suit is the attire of choice in this venue. I think whether you do a skirted option or a pant option is really up to your preference. You may want to think a little bit about where interviews are being held in terms of weather, which may sway your decision a little bit. But I think either option for women nowadays is quite acceptable. In terms of the color, you want to go conservative again. So a traditional black jacket, I think, is a good option always. You can never go wrong with that. Alternatively, for my medical interviews, I chose a gray option, a dark gray suit that was a skirted suit. I thought a color different than black might make me stand out just a little bit more than other people. But overall, you just want to go conservative, neutral colors. Likewise, for the blouse or shirt you have under your jacket, you want to go neutral, conservative as well. Now's not the time to have a bunch of print or ruffles, anything beyond just classic lines. So I think those are the ways to go in terms of what you wear. And big picture, of course, is to also make sure your outfit looks presentable. So you want to make sure there aren't any stains on it, it's not very wrinkled. You might want to bring a steamer with you to your hotel for the night before to prepare your outfit. Overall, you want to look put together and presentable, and sometimes that's challenging because oftentimes you're traveling quite a distance to get to your interview destination, so you have to think about these small things. So the number 2 thing to think about are shoes and handbags. So that's something that I actually spent quite a lot of time, surprisingly enough, on prior to going on my interviews. You want to pick out a shoe and handbag that's conservative, shows a little bit of your own style, and ones that actually are functional for you during your interview days. So the first thing are shoes. So let me show you a pair of shoes that I think would probably work for you in this situation. So that would be a classic pump. So here you have a black pump. It's from Coach, but every brand essentially makes classic black pumps. Things to think about, in my opinion, are it's a matte leather, so I don't believe a patent leather may be in your best interests in terms of outfits for this venue. It also is a heel that's not too large. This is a little bit on the high side even for me, but it's about a 3-inch heel, which I think works. A 2.5-inch or even slightly lower here I think would also work. For my actual interviews, I wore a block heel because I knew I'd be walking a lot. Most of the day you're actually walking during your interviews, so keep that in mind, of course, when you're selecting your shoe. But for women, at least, I think a classic black pump or a color that matches your outfit is the way to go here. In terms of the handbag, the actual handbag I took for my actual interviews, I don't have anymore since it was quite a ways ago. But currently I have this Tory Burch tote, which I think might be a good option as well. So again, it's a black tote, very classic lines. It has a little bit of flair personality with the chain detail, which I think in this case does work. A little bit of flair I think is okay if it's done in a professional, conservative way. The nice thing about a tote like this, of course, is during the day you're going to be receiving a lot of materials in terms of paperwork, flyers, handouts, other things you need during the day to collect, and it's nice to just throw them in your tote. It's also quite comfortable on the shoulder with these leather straps here. So for walking around all day, traveling through the airport and whatnot, I think this is a good option for you. So some type of a nice classic work style tote I think would make a good option for these interviews. The next thing to think about is hair. For women at least, I think, again, conservative makes the most sense. So I think it's okay to have your hair down if it's well kept, well put together, it doesn't get in your face, it doesn't have too many flyaways or any other things like that. In terms of what works for me best is to just throw my hair back. So oftentimes I'll use this look for work as well. It's the most easy, convenient way to look professional and not have your hair get in the way of your day-to-day function. So throwing your hair back in a bun, as I did during my interviews, or a neat ponytail, I think works for me. But basically, you just want your hair to look neat, presentable, and put together. The next thing to think about is jewelry. So for jewelry, again, you want to go conservative. As I've been saying throughout this entire video, now's not the time to rock your new statement necklace. There's a time and a place for that, and this is probably not it. Very simple, classic pieces, pearl earrings, a simple necklace, a simple ring, I think it makes sense. If you want to wear a watch, I think that's fine, of course, as well. But go conservative, and if you question anything at all, just don't wear it. You want to be pretty minimal in this situation. Number 4 thing to think about is your makeup and fragrances. So for makeup, again, you want to have a look that overall is pretty nude. You want to have very modest eye look, and I think a nude lip works the best here. So again, you want to look professional and conservative, and also have a little bit of your own style, I think is okay thrown in there. So the look I have today, I think works fine for this situation. For fragrances, obviously you want to pare that down as well. You can wear fragrance, in my opinion, but something that's very fresh, very light, I think is the way to go, or no fragrance at all in this setting. Likewise for the work environment, I think that also works best. So the 5th thing on the list here, of course, in my opinion, is the most important. So all this talk about fashion and what to put together in terms of your outfit look and makeup look, all I think matters in terms of making first impressions, because you only get to make that impression once. But overall, the most important thing that I think you can wear is a smile and be confident walking in there. You've put a lot of time and effort into getting where you are today to walk into that interview, so be confident. Wear your smile, wear a happy demeanor. I think that's the most important thing in terms of rocking those interviews. Just think about it. You're interviewing for a position where oftentimes you're going to work long hours, you're going to work 80 hours, you're going to work with your colleagues for most of those hours. They want to work with somebody who's friendly, who's smiling, who's happy to be there, who's engaged. These are things that I think are the most important things to wear during your interviews. So hopefully those 5 tips help you think a little bit more about how to present yourself for your medical interviews. The main thing is the last point, number 5. Be confident in yourself. You've got this. You've worked your whole life for this, so go ahead and rock it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.